Hello, I'm Carol Kemmerer, and I have today with me as my guest Karen Vaisman, who is a headshot and portrait photographer from the Los Angeles area. We're going to explore some questions because having a great headshot on LinkedIn is so important. So, Karen, I have noticed the trend that over time, the workplace has gotten so much less formal. How does that affect the kinds of pictures that you take?
I specialize in LinkedIn and headshot photography. So I try to get really natural expressions with people and get them to look their best possible self, especially for our online world right now. So I specialize in retouching, as well as I have 30 years of experience photographing out of my own studio
Excellent.
in Agora Hills.
Super. And how should someone go about shopping for a photographer? What should you look for? And just how would you say people should evaluate photographers before they buy?
Well, most people are online searching, like on Google or on Yelp, and they very much look at Yelp and Google reviews. That's very important to see what other people think about the photographer. Once you've identified a few that you'd like to call, definitely check out their website. You want to look at the quality of their work for both the technical ability. But one thing that people, I don't think they think about is the rapport with the photographer. So once you decide to call a photographer or actually meet with them, the chemistry between the photographer and the person is key, because it's like a mirror reflection of you. So in order to get a natural look, not the deer in the headlights look, you want to feel very comfortable with the photographer. So I talk to people, I get to know them, I get to know their needs. And that reduces the stress. People get very stressed being in front of that long lens. I also shoot with an iPad. I shoot directly into an iPad. So as I'm shooting, after the first couple of shots, I pick up that iPad, I turn it around and I show them. And they go, "Oh my God, I look terrific." They relax from that point on. And then we can focus on just talking, having a good time, getting to know each other. And the quality of the image is immensely better because they're relaxed. They're not so focused on, "Oh, I need to have that perfect smile."
Absolutely.
So when you're evaluating your photographer choice, you need to like that photographer. You need to like that person.
Excellent. Oh, good. So say someone is getting ready to come to a photo shoot and they want to know, how should they prepare? What kinds of advice do you give them?
Well, I usually have a consultation on the phone when we're setting up the appointment. I want to find out exactly what you need. So we discuss wardrobe, color, hair, the quality of the fabric. You don't want to get moire patterns, which are zigzag lines in your picture. You have to have a specific type of fabric.
Right.
Color, background color. You want studio, you want outdoor. I give them advice on jewelry to bring. You want it to be very simple because you want to focus on the face. Men, I like to have a pop of color in their tie. If a lot of them say they don't want to wear a tie, but I usually recommend a tie because it finishes the image. When you're the size of a postage stamp, that little pop of color draws your eye to the person, especially on LinkedIn. So we discuss all these different options. And then I say, we can take many different versions, with a tie, without a tie, with a jacket, without a jacket. They usually end up purchasing what I recommend with a jacket and with a bright colored tie, a white shirt to brighten the teeth and eyes. So we go through all of this, and it's very important to prepare in advance. When people forget their jewelry or they don't do their nails, and then you have an arms folded shot and their nails show up in the shot, you want to have all that out of the way before you even show up.
Sure. Absolutely. So most people do want to look their best on LinkedIn, and they're expecting either to have someone do makeup artistry as part of the beginning of the shot, or I know you specialize in retouching, and there are some photographers that do both. So, can you compare how those different approaches work to make us look our very best on the film?
Right. Well, most people, they don't even know what retouching is, or they don't really clearly understand it. So on my website, my opening page are before and afters. So people can see, oh, this is what I look like without retouching, and this is what I look like with retouching.
Yes,
And
yes,
I focus on natural retouching. I don't want the
excellent.
plastic Barbie doll kind of look. I want it to look like the best you. So I do skin smoothing, teeth whitening, even orthodonture. I put on digital eyelashes. So I recommend,
Wow.
especially now in the day of COVID, you don't even need to go to a makeup artist, even though it does look nice and it does look finishing. I can do a lot of that in the computer. The digital eyelashes, it's amazing the difference.
Wow.
Skin smoothing, under eye circles, getting rid of stray hairs, getting wrinkles out of clothing. They're minor, subtle differences, but when you look at the before and after, when I ask people, do you want the before or do you want the after? Because I can do, I can do both. It's just a
Yes.
matter of time and which package you want to purchase.
Right, right.
So retouching in a natural way ups your brand. It really boosts your personal brand.
Yes. I'm sure that my photographer in Minneapolis whitened my teeth many, many brightnesses. And I'm so grateful. So
I also do digital slenderizing, I should mention as well.
Oh, well, that
get rid of the double chin, all of that. Yeah, take off a few pounds.
So I know that years ago, when we would go to have our picture made, the photographer continued to hold the copyright for the image, and they wanted all the pictures to be produced by them. And I think some things have changed in the digital age. Can you tell us about that?
Well, I think different photographers have different philosophies. Almost all photographers hold on to the copyright, as I do. But what they do is they give you the license to use it, not the license to resell it, but the license to actually use it. Because in our digital world, you need access to the digital files for
we do
for LinkedIn and your personal brand, and for websites and so forth. So you sell the digital image. I prefer to sell a retouched image, because then I know what's actually going online. And if somebody refers me as the photographer, I really don't want somebody else retouching it, because that reflects poorly on me if it's done. It's not done to my standards, but you can't really control it once it leaves your studio. But I think people are so pleased with my retouching work, they don't want to touch it after after it's complete.
I love that. So in our visit last week, you told me about the incredible changes that you had made to your studio to make you a COVID-friendly place. Can you share with us about that? I was just so impressed.
Thank you. Yeah, I work out of my home, and my studio is actually what was behind me. I worked in my living room. But because of COVID, I needed to move it into a well-ventilated space. So I remodeled my garage so I could have one full wall of open air. I have HEPA filters and evaporative cooler running. And so it's well ventilated, a door that's open, so there's circulating air the whole time. I do ask everybody wears a mask during the whole thing, except for when you're posing. I actually have a see-through mask that are made for hearing impaired people. So when I'm helping people pose, they see my expression, and it can reflect. It helps them pose because they can see my smile. So that's sort of a nice little touch that people don't normally think about. We have social distancing. I have 2 computer monitors set 9 feet apart, so that when we do the image selection, we compare the images side by side, but we're 9 feet away. So we're seeing a mirror image exactly of what, and we can talk easily with each other. So that's a safety protocol. built in, and hand sanitizer, and I sanitize between people coming. I like to shoot in the morning when it's cooler.
Right.
Everybody has had to make modifications for COVID, and I've carpeted my garage, and the whole
Oh,
thing looks like an
wonderful.
indoor studio, but with one open wall.
Very cool. So,
And I only
tell us,
work with vaccinated clients. I do ask them to sign a
Mhm.
COVID release.
Excellent. That's
Mhm,
important for everybody's safety.
mhm.
Karen, you've told us so many things. Tell us now about how we can find you both physically and online.
Oh, great. Yeah, I'm located in Agora Hills, California, which is in the Los Angeles area between Santa Barbara and Los Angeles.
Mhm.
And my website is KarenVaismanPhotography.com, and that's KarenVaisman Photography.com. And I love taking phone calls. Feel free to call me at 818-991-7787. And I'm more than happy to discuss your personal needs regarding photography, LinkedIn, portraits. And I'm also on Instagram at Karen Vaisman.
Super. Thanks so much. I'm Carol Kemmerer, and I'm delighted to bring the very best to my clients.
Thank you so much.